Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey, right here on the Dice Tower. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be taking a look at this little fella right here. This is called Switchbacks. Now this is a reprint of a Japanese game, and but AllPlay is putting this out, and they've put a pretty neat little hiking theme wrapped around this, what it would normally be an abstract strategy game. But let's get down to the table and take a look. On your turn, you're basically going to play one tile out from your hand onto the board anywhere that you want to. There's no adjacency or anything like that. You can literally put it anywhere you want to put it. And then you're also going to have the opportunity to place a hiker on the card that on the tile that you just played. Or you can do what's called a buddy-up action where you will take two of your hikers and put them together so that you can place them together on a subsequent turn. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get tiles out here that are in consecutive number orders. So if I put a 28 right here, and then if I put let's say a 24 right here, this is not a consecutive match. Furthermore, if I put 21 here, this is not a consecutive match. But later on, by clever placement, if I put a 22 and then a 23, that will be a consecutive trail. To go from 24 to 28, I would need to do something like 25, 26, 27, 28. Then I could follow that trail from 21 to 28. But as these are right now, it's not consecutive. The thing is that trails with hikers on them won't score you any points unless they are at least 4 consecutive numbers. How do they score points? Well, for every path that has hikers on them, they will score a number of points equal to how many hikers are on that trail. Remembering that the trail has to be at least 4 consecutive numbers in order to score at the end of the game. But that's generally what you're trying to do over the course of the game. You're going to play a tile, and then of course you're going to draw a tile. So let's say that I did want to start right here with that one. Do I want to place one out there? Not really. So my first turn, I'm just going to buddy up 2 of my hikers so that I can play them on a subsequent turn, and then I'm going to draw one and add it to my hand. Then the next person takes theirs, and let's see here. Oh, 28. Well, that's kind of close to one of mine. So let's go ahead and say that I want, let's see, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. I'll put 32 over here. Actually, let's say I'll put it right there so that there is a possibility that it will still match, but maybe it won't. And let's say I'm a little bit of a risk taker. I'll go ahead and put one of my workers out there, and I'll draw one to end my turn there. Now, yellow player is going to take their hand, and let's see here. They don't have anything close to that, so they're going to put 6 right out here. They're not going to put anything out there, so we'll go ahead and buddy up a couple of ours to prepare for a future turn, draw a tile, and we're good to go. Now, blue player is going to come up, and they don't really have anything either, but they do have something that's pretty close to 6. So maybe they'll put that one over here. And again, they're just going to go ahead and buddy up as well because we are still very uncertain as to how things are working out. Now, once the draw pile has been emptied, we continue playing tiles out of our hands without drawing new ones until all of the tiles in our hands have been played. That's, of course, leaving out the ones that are just for information purposes and the ones that are not in the game anymore. Once everybody has played all of our tiles out, we'll look at the board to see which trails have at least 4 consecutive numbers on them. And then each of those hikers will score 1 point each, and whoever has the most points at the end of that calculation is the winner. So that's about that for Switchbacks. It is a very simple abstract strategy game, and it is not difficult to understand at all. The rule book is rather short and concise. There aren't any real questions, and you know, with a rule book this small, with no real questions, that really just kind of is a testament to how simple of a game it really is. There isn't a whole lot of stuff going on here as far as mechanically speaking, or rules, or complexity, or anything like that. But I will say that I think there is a good amount of depth and strategy that is there, especially for how light and how quick of a game it is. Another thing that I want to say before we actually get into my pros and cons is that some of the components I was using is an upgrade that you can purchase through AllPlay. The miniatures that have the little meeples that have the screen printed things on them, those are an upgrade that you can purchase through AllPlay. The game does come with wooden meeples, but they don't have screen print on them, and they are considerably smaller than these that come in the box. So the box does come with wooden meeples, but they're smaller and they aren't screen printed. You can purchase the upgrade though through AllPlay, but I wanted to mention that because I didn't want you to think that those came in the box. They do, however, fit in the box if you choose to upgrade with them. So that's a bonus, but I just wanted to mention that. Let's get to my pros and cons. Now, my first pro with the game is that it is, and I already mentioned this, it is very simple and very easy to teach. It's not difficult at all, and that is a true pro, in my opinion. One of the worst things that you can do at a game night or something like that is sit down with a game and have to slog through a rule book. That can kill excitement in a game night faster than almost anything. So one of the things that I like to look for, no matter how complex the game is how simple is it to teach the game? And am I going to be able to sit down and explain how the game works in 5 minutes? And if I can do that, I know that we'll be able to get right into playing without much interaction as far as instruction is concerned at all. And that for me is a huge deal. Now, this isn't a huge game. So, of course, we hopefully should be able to explain how to play the game in 5 minutes or less, really. And that's an important thing for me. So you kind of expect it with such a small game, but it is something that I do like to keep in mind of as I'm looking at how the game teaches and how the game plays. Is it going to be a pro because I'm able to teach it quickly and easily? Or is it going to be a con that, it takes a long time to slog through the rules and all that kind of thing? That's something I keep an eye out for. So it's definitely a pro with this one. It's very simple to teach with easy mechanisms. Second pro of the game for me is this is not a huge time investment. This is definitely a game where you're going to be able to maybe play in between two larger games and have it kind of take on the role of a palate cleanser. Or it can be just something that you've got 20, 30 minutes to kill. Let's sit down and play this game, and it sets up fast, and it tears down fast as well, and it plays very quickly. So everything about this game is fast, it's quick, and that's something that I really do think is a positive thing for this game, because some abstract strategy games, they can get a little brain burny, and they can get a little people might struggle with analysis paralysis a little bit. You just don't have that in this game, and I think that's great for an abstract strategy game, because with a lot of those kinds of games, you can really kind of get stuck in your head. Should I do this? Should I do that? And it really kind of takes away from the enjoyment of the game. We didn't really find that on this one. So take that for what it's worth, but it plays really fast, and it has great, easy-to-teach mechanisms. My third pro of the game is that while it is very simple to teach, while it does play very quickly, and while it does have very simple mechanisms, it does have a lot of really kind of gut-wrenching choices that you have to make throughout the course of the game, because you only have limited information. You don't know everything. Now, you know how many tiles there are. The tiles go from 1 to 37, and so you do have finite information that's available to you, but you're missing parts of it. So that provides a really cool tension in the game that I think is necessary for this kind of game to be fun. Otherwise, you're really just kind of waiting for all of the tiles to be played, knowing that you're going to have connections everywhere. That's not really how this goes. On the other side of that same coin, however, it also produces kind of almost a cutthroat nature to the game, because you can play this game extremely cutthroat style, where you can almost be deceptive with where you're placing your different tiles and how you're placing them. Maybe putting out there a false hope that you're going to want that to connect to other things. So there's a lot of really neat choices that you make throughout the course of the game, even though it's incredibly fast and incredibly easy to play. My fourth pro for the game is, quite simply, I think it's a great theme that they've slapped on it. It's not, and I say that specifically, it is definitely a pasted on theme. There's no bringing that back. However, I think it works. Having hikers go up on trails that may or may not finish is thematic. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have trailheads all over the place in our area here in the Wenatchee Valley, and it just is a theme that kind of makes sense for the style of game that you're playing here, in good ways and bad, because sometimes hikers do get lost on trails. The rescue teams have to go out and find them, and they don't find that path that connects between A and B. So there's a lot of thematic goodness in that. Even though it is just a pasted on theme, it made sense, and I think that only helps people enjoy the game, doesn't hurt it. My one con for the game, and it is a small one, and I already alluded to it a little bit, you can play this game in kind of a nasty way. You can place tiles down that will simply just block trails from being made. And that is a viable strategy for the game. But I think, so that you aren't that guy or gal in the game, I think you should try to do that while you're still making your own trail a viable scoring trail by the end of the game, rather than just plopping that tile that you know is not going to score right in the middle just to block somebody else. You can definitely do that, and that's why, for me, it's a little bit of a con. I think it's an integral and necessary strategy that should be there for the game, but you may not like stuff like that, so I wanted to mention it. You can play the game. In fact, I have talked to people that think that that is the way you should play the game, so that you can have more competitive scores. But you can also play the game in a very cooperative way. Okay, I'll help you finish that there. I'll help you finish that there. And we're all going to score a whole bunch of points. You can definitely play it that way, but you can definitely play it the other way. I'm not going to help you finish that, even though it would kind of help me out a little bit. I'm not going to help you finish that trail because you've already got 3 people down there on that trail, and I only have 1. So you're not going to score those 3 points. I'm not going to score that 1, but I'm going to start building over here where you aren't. That's the kind of feeling that this game can have. So you either like that or you don't like that. That's why I wanted to mention it as a con. I don't think it's a big con. I think it's pretty fun, but you might not like that kind of stuff. And I know that there are people who don't. So I wanted to mention it as a con, just to throw that out there. My rating for Switchbacks is going to be a super high 8 out of 10. Super strong. And the reason it's an 8 out of 10 for me is because I have really enjoyed this. I got to play this a lot. I got to teach it a lot at Dice Tower East and before then as well. And this has just been a game that has really gone over well with a lot of different people. And I can't ignore that fact. I also enjoy it as well. That's why I'm giving it a higher rating of 8 out of 10. But I also have seen a lot of people enjoy it as well. Over on the flip side, we usually do thumbs up. And this one would be 2 thumbs up for me as well. The core components of the game are good, but if you can throw a few extra bucks at the upgrade, I think that's necessary. The wooden meeples that come in the box are really tiny, and for meat hooks like mine, they're just harder to manage. But with these larger ones, I think it's a pretty good upgrade, and it was well worth the, I think, $8 or $10 or something like that for the upgrade. It made sense to me, so I went ahead and purchased it. So it's a strong 8 out of 10 for me for Switchbacks. Thanks for joining me here on the Dice Tower. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.